We are talking about the topic of non-Jews, nations of the world, from different perspectives. So I have here several books of maftechos. Maftechos are, of course, where you have short statements indexed from various different sources, which don't really explain the issues that much, but serve as a kind of springboard for discussion. So this is from the Ramchal, Ramosha Chaim Lutzato. So Ramosha Chaim Lutzato has about almost Ha'olam. The nations of the world says, Umos Olam Heim Zera Sheker. The nations of the world are the science of falsehood.
What says this again?
Ramchal, yeah. The Shivim Umos Olam Heim Besod Shivim Trefos. The 70 nations of the world correspond to the 70, I guess there's 70, I never count them, Trefos and Meseches Chulin. The Umos Olam Enim Yishoyim Elheim Usulafim. The nations of the world are not straight, they are distorted. The nations of the world were created by Adam's sin. Alternative. The nations of the world are created after the snake had relations with Chava. We usually take it to be a metaphor, not literal. No, not yet. Let me get started first. Okay, let's give me a few minutes.
This is worse.
You listen to this.
Yeah. So this is a short. There's more we can speak about, but I'll leave that for now.
Is there anything nice that book says?
No.
No, not really. Just some more neutral things. It says, for example, Asi Lovo, the eventual future, some of the goyim will just be eradicated. But some will convert you, Gerim Gruim, and will be like a lower level of ger, because they do it after their redemption comes. Okay? Then he
touches pretty heavily in Derech Hashem too.
Yeah, right. Derech Hashem is. He says that tefillos of the Umas Olam are not accepted.
There you go.
Game because they are haughty. They're arrogant. Okay.
So the Arabs praying in the.
Well, he doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what he does with the Arabs.
Why? They're haughty.
Because well,
Is he referring to Christians then?
Because they're davening to Hashem. I mean, it says Shlomo Melech said that when they daven to Hashem, their tefillah should be accepted.
Yeah, when they go to the Beis Hamikdash, it says.
No, he says in general they should be accepted.
He says in Beis Hamikdash in this place.
No.
I read enough. I don't know.
Now, so this is a cross section of choice quotes from the Ramchal. Now let's go to Sham Shafol Hirsch. If Sham Shafol Hirsch says, this is from the commentary on Shmos Daled Chav Beit. The Fichach Amar Hashem. This is why Hashem says, "B'ni b'chori Yisrael, my son, my firstborn in Israel." Meaning that the Jews opened the womb of humanity. But with the Jews will open the grand march, a love towards which all the nations must join as the children of God. Do you see it? Do you know the disparity here?
You saying the Kohen should be hidden?
No.
They're also children of God.
They're also children of God.
If we're the firstborn, then this implies that everyone else is also children.
So he said that then in Shmos Zayin Dal he says, "Ein Yisrael nikra tzva Hashem." Am Yisrael is not called the army of God, el tzivos Hashem, but the armies of God. Ki Yisrael miyatzeg ribui rav gevani. As the Jews represent a multitude, multiplicity, shanos of various different national characteristics. Hamatzbiya uvda, which indicates to the truth of the fact, ki Torah, that the Torah, umanosusha yodi, which is the either the belief or the craft of a Jew, Einok Shurol Ma'amad Chevrati Misuyam is not linked to some social status, or to some specific national tendency. Adar, on the contrary, he's mazmino as klala anoshus al kol gvanea. It invites the totality of mankind and all of its different aspects and views, the Kabbalah's Marus Hashem, to accept the mastery of God. So what Rav Shlomo is saying in this statement is a very fascinating point. He says, Jews have lots and lots of different types of personalities, characteristics, ways to approach Hashem. You won't find among non-Jews this division between Hasidim, Misnagdim, Sfardim, Ashkenazim. This is a very unique Jewish thing. Now, usually we Jews misuse this distinction, and we use these divisions to divide between us and create more strife, and have the Beis Hamikdash destroyed and such like. But the idea was that the Torah is not connected to one specific national trait or character, which each of the nations has, but rather it's connected to a broad array of possible characteristics and approaches, to each of which one of the nations of the world can be attracted. What do you want to say before Yossi?
That was it. I was going to ask if any of those quotes were pretty positive.
But this is not for Ramchal.
Previous books, yeah.
Yeah, this is from Sham Shavuot Hirsch. Then he says, Mashira, this is from Shmos Yud Beis Memches. Mashira mimei Avram al Gulas Mitzrayim. Whatever happened from the days of Abraham until the days of redemption from Egypt, Iral Tovas and Ushus Kula, happened for the good of the greater mankind. Kol Adam Yuchad Staref LaEver Zeh, and any person can enter this side of the equation. By joining those who are redeemed. In the country of God, nation of God, there is no value neither to genealogical significance nor to connection to birthplaces, and only to the internal essence of a person. And then the author of this Mafteach, Rav Tzuriel, brings down a whole slew of these. He says, Yisrael Rachok, the Jews who are distant, me'oto particularism. Do I have to translate that? Particularism, which is attributed to by strangers. From the beginning it saw its agency in bringing spiritual and ethical redemption to all mankind. So when the Torah entered Eretz Yisrael, that already began the ultimate process of the redemption of the nations. That's on Dvarim Chav Zayin Ches. Now, this is a beautiful sentiment to which I wholeheartedly agree and subscribe. But this is not the sentiment expressed by the Baalei Musar and the Baalei Chasidus, for the most part. The Baalei Musar and Baalei Chasidus hold that the ultimate purpose of the Geula is the elimination of the non-Jews, or at best their subservience and their subjugation, and exploiting them, if that is the word which I can use. But that's why, to be perfectly blunt and honest, I could never be a Chassid, is because the core perspective of Chassidus is one which I find unacceptable for myself.
What is the core perspective of Chassidus?
Goyim are bad, and they come from bad, and there's no good that can possibly come from them or be done with them. That's only one of the core perspectives of Chassidim I don't like.
Is that
that's one of them.
Really believe that?
What? Of course they believe that.
Okay.
But is that
The Chiddush is that if you look in Baalei Musar, even like the Alta from Kelm and Rabbi Yerucham, you'll find similar ideas. You'll find that one has to distance oneself from non-Jews. But I just saw Rabbi Yerucham tonight says, any chesed, which any non-Jew does, even the greatest chesed, doesn't come to the level a Jew fulfills with the mitzvah of shikha. Shikha is when he inadvertently forgets grain in the field. So that's a very radical statement. Dama Ben Asina?
No, it says that a learned non-Jew is like a Kohen Gadol.
Mom's
It's bigger than a Kohen Gadol, no?
You can get out of any Gemara. That's not a problem.
I think that's really explicit.
Yeah. We know that's not even hard to get out of that Gemara.
Really?
Yeah.
So say the Gemara now.
Gemara says that even a goy who learned Torah is like a kohen gadol. So already Tosfos says doesn't mean Torah. It means only their Sheva mitzvahs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But besides that, it means he has a tremendous milah. But our milah is much bigger than that.
It's comparing to kohen gadol.
Yeah. So imagine what a kohen gadol actually is.
So, Rabbi, with the biggest chiddush, we're just comparing it to a regular yid at the street.
What?
You don't say biggest chiddush if it's not the biggest chiddush.
No, it's saying that what Torah can do for a non-Jew, but doesn't say comparatively what Torah does for a Jew. I mean, listen, I haven't looked up what they say in that Gemara. I'm just trying off the cuff. Might be I don't know what they do if I didn't look it up. Yeah.
Oh wait, so this is all. Even those non-Jews that keep the 7 mitzvahs and they know off, this is the same. We look at them as Zeresh, like whoever holds this very negative position, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they hold that way. Even they keep the Shem mitzvahs.
Okay.
Because they keep the Shem mitzvahs, even according to those opinions. Listen, again, this is not a position to which I subscribe, but the position is that non-Jews do what they do for their own vested interest, and not because they really want to serve God. That's the Gemara. They base on Gemara Baba Basra. It says that a Jew says tzedakah raises tzedakah manashi yechia b'ni. This is for the tzedakah on the condition my son will live. Right, in order that my son should live, rather. Mm-hmm. So even if his son dies, he's not upset he gave tzedakah, he's happy he did the mitzvah. But a goy who gives tzedakah for his son to live, if his son dies, he's upset that he did the mitzvah.
But isn't it said that Avraham Avinu was not exactly a Jew? So what is the Hasidic take on that?
They gloss over that. It was really Jewish. It was technicalities.
There was nothing. What was there before officially the Torah was given? I mean,
whatever it was, he was that.
What about?
He wore a strymol.
What about learning in the yeshiva of Shem and Eber? They weren't Jews.
What?
Shem and Eber.
They weren't Jews.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess.
We went to the yeshivas.
Yeah, so that's why when they went down to Mitzrayim, they started a new yeshiva. They have to. I don't know.
No, you don't have the same status. You don't call the others like just non-Jews.
Right.
No,
obviously, Shem and Eber also had a status can be argued to have a status of at least quasi-Jewish. Anybody who's part of the chain from back to Adam Rishon, who recognize Hashem can have that stature.
So that was too much.
They all kept the mitzvahs. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Just call them.
So now he says, there's the famous Rav Shamshon Volorsha said. He says in a couple of places, were we to merit ilu zocha in mekaymes tafkid hazeh, we would fulfill our job by our shifto b'aretz b'shavos, dwelling in our land in tranquility. Now that we not merit that, Allah, it's incumbent upon us to kaimo sabah golus, to fulfill our mission in golus. U'yisurim kashim, and with difficult travails, yochin, to prepare es hagshamas hachazon hazeh, the fulfillment of this vision, l'man gulas ha'asit shalamin kulam, for the ultimate redemption of all the nations. In other words, ideally speaking, we should have a model society in Eretz Yisrael, with which everybody could come and see, and then come to recognize the beauty of the Torah lifestyle. But because we weren't Zocheh, because we messed up, so therefore we have to do it in Golus. And Golus, it's very hard. But that is the purpose of Golus, to spread the Jews among the world, all over the world, to be an example and role model, not in the ideal state, but an example and role model for individuals to come and emulate and aspire to achieve the same level as the Jews. Now, he doesn't say this, but we always say here, we have failed in that mission, right? But that's not God's fault. That's our fault that we failed.
But isn't that why we failed?
Succeeded.
What? We haven't yet succeeded in the mission. That's a better way of putting it. I apologize. That's better.
But if we hadn't have failed, then we wouldn't be part of spread out the nation. So obviously there is a master plan.
Right. There is a master plan, and sooner or later, as Shlomo put it, corrected me. Eventually, we will succeed, but we haven't succeeded yet. Yeah.
No, just you said that when I guess part of Chassidus is that I guess non-Jews are bad or something. Is that
Yeah.
correct? And you say you don't just subscribe to that?
No.
How come? Like, I'm just when I'm saying
I-
I'm just simply saying.
No,
when
because
I was talking like this, I mean, why?
Because the statements which Chazal and were made against non-Jews were made against about pagans, primarily pagans and polytheists. Pagans and polytheists, if they're really true to their religious perspective, are not ethical, are not moral, are not at all civilized.
Are Christians polytheists?
No,
Why not?
because they believe in the God which we believe in. They believe in other gods as
Well,
well.
they also believe in a dead person.
Yeah, but that dead person is by it doesn't detract. When I speak about polytheists, you know,
Oh, so it's not sheep.
no. Listen. Technically speaking, you're right. It falls in the category of polytheism because they have the Trinity. But when I talk about polytheists, I mean polytheists whose chief god is a Zeus or a Jupiter, who's the same as any other god.
If I can ask a side question, is Christianity Shituf?
Of course, it's Shituf. That's machlekes whether it's avodah zarah or not.
Oh, okay.
But for us, but not for
But
them.
but for
No, that's a machlekes. It's avodah zarah for them.
For them, but not for us.
Not for us, it definitely is avodah zarah. Yeah. Although there's a cool halach in the Rambam. The Rambam in Hill, I think it's Hilchos Malachim. He says non-Jews are forbidden to start their own religions. What's the inference of that?
Jews are not.
Jews are allowed to.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't know.
right.
Is the non-Jews
joke?
allowed to start?
No.
Let's even start our own religion.
If you
I
want,
thought the most popular
Jew-
business.
if you want to start, first name is Greg, right?
Yes.
If you want to start Gregism, and in Gregism, there's all the 13 principles of the Rambam are kept, right? The 13 according to the Rambam are observed as the core beliefs of Gregism. But in Gregism, everybody every day has to blow dry their hair 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That's the observance of the adherence of Greg.
Part of it.
That would be okay. For a goy to it would be also. For a goy,
Scientology is also basically.
yeah.
But that doesn't. Oh, okay. I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know what to do with that. First of, is that that's a? You're taking a real deal from that, or is that just
Yeah.
like? Okay, but the core of a religion isn't.
So we don't believe, we're not a religion.
What?
Jews is not a religion.
We have beliefs.
Yes, we're a nation, we're nationality. We have
Core of
beliefs.
the nationality.
Is
Oh.
what?
Oh, fine. So religion, Jews are not. We don't have a religion,
Right,
but we can start a religion.
right.
Okay.
Okay? A religion is a way, let's define a religion.
Hirsch says,
A religion is a way in which you express your inner religious drive in a worshipful way, which is meaningful for you. Okay? Everybody has an inner religious drive, which is a natural drive.
Was dubbing
Some people-
nationalistic?
What?
Dubbing is a nationalistic.
It's a totally natural tendency. Of course, that's why there's no atheists in the fun.
Nationalistic or is it religious?
What?
To praise, is it nationalistic or religious?
It's religious.
It's religious.
Religious?
Yes.
That's
Okay, so dubbing
Yeah, it's
is
religious. No. But it's religious in the sense that it's an expression of a natural tendency.
Yeah.
People have a tendency to turn to greater powers at the time when they're in difficulty. But who the greater power is, that's not an issue of religion. That's an issue of belief. Okay? So now some people, there are people who get buried in baseball uniforms. Usually not even the baseball players themselves, right? They're fans who get buried in baseball uniforms, especially in Chicago, places like that, where what? I lived in Chicago for 12 years.
So he has a pick on them now.
Yes.
No, they're big sports fans out
Yes,
there.
it's different than New York. It's a totally different scale of measure. So, they have a pestle to Michael Jordan there in
Oh,
Chicago.
statue?
Yeah.
That's a statue.
Right.
Yeah.
So a person that is a religious expression. Some people's religion is the Chicago Cubs. You have to be very religious to believe in a sports team which hasn't won the World Series in over 100 years, right?
That's the most Amuna ever.
There's nothing but a religious zeal can explain such a phenomenon. This is a religious tendency. So Torah says, listen, if you decide that you have certain rituals you want to do, which make you closer to me, go ahead. Those are not required of you. You want to do them? Go ahead, do them.
Also, if I feel that blow drying my hair 3 times a day brings me closer to Hashem, then I can do that.
Right.
Okay.
And if you want to start a cult, in which people dry their hair 3 times a day because it brings them that much closer to God, right?
Well, so this challah classes that they used to have, where the women get together to make challah and they make these special incantations. That's okay. It's not a problem.
Well, I suppose the incantations to the right deity, not to the.
Why is this so funny? This
It's not kishu. It's not about the tefillah.
Incantations.
These are the words
He meant
incantation.
Is that like a key?
Think about it.
What?
Is that like the key in the challah?
The key in the challah? Yeah, the key in the challah could be a good example of a religious
I have
thing.
no idea.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
They put a key in the, I forget what Shabbos Shira or something. Some people in the minute put a key in the challah.
Show.
Anything, all these things that you know are schools for parnasa.
Oh.
You know, we specialize in schools for parnasa. That's sort of Judaism
Jews or
specialties.
who?
Judaism specialties. So this is good for parnasa. That's good for parnasa. This is good for parnasa. Everything's good for parnasa. Well, we should all be rich.
What?
We should all be rich if they worked.
So you're saying it's shtos? Are you saying there's shtos?
Am I saying it's shtus?
If you want to say that, that's fine.
No, if it makes you feel good, it's okay.
Wait.
It's psychological. It's not spiritual.
Really? So it's not. That's me. If it's not spiritual, then what do I care?
What?
No. So when people say this is school for that,
Because it's a form of a tefillah for those people.
Rabbi, we have a question.
It's like if it works. It works as a form.
I do. I'm not doing anything, whatever. Segulo this, segulo that.
You don't have to. You'd be a very good Jew, even if you don't do any skulos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
about schools?
You don't have farnasa.
Skulos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why won't I?
Supposed to bring bad
You know, if you read Parshas Haktorah, I don't want to, some very holy person said this. Read Parshas Haktorah from the Klaf, then you're going to become rich like Korach. Just wait. It's happening.
What is it? That's true.
No, I mean,
You know, there is a bridge in Brooklyn which is for sale.
why do you say that, Rabbi? Why do you say this? Well, yeah.
That I don't see what that means,
No,
but I know.
I've seen a lot of people do that. It gives parnasa to the software that writes things off.
That's
Don't
not.
laugh.
Wait.
You do parnasa.
I'm just saying. What are we? What is the? So okay, it's about just maybe
anyone
back
want
to
me to
the
write the
Gentiles.
questions? Go ahead.
What?
So it's about just I guess maybe back to the Gentiles. So basically it ranges in thought between they're really bad and they're not, or they're good, or they're sort of good, or
No, so things like this. This one I was about to say. I'm sorry. Before we got sidetracked into founding new religions. So what I was saying is that the way the Talmud and Talmudic sources really don't discuss monotheistic, and again, I'm using monotheistic liberally in terms of Christians, but monotheistic religions like Christianity and Islam, and certain forms of, for that matter, it seems Buddhism and other religions which are monotheistic, in which
they're atheists. Buddhists don't believe.
Yeah, they claim they don't believe, but obviously they believe in something. They don't get into it. It's a way of life, I understand.
There's still other religions.
Yeah, you can be anything and be a
They
Buddhist.
don't have a power.
You can be anything and be a
It's
Buddhist.
a philosophy.
No, I'm just saying. From what I understand, they have no power.
Yes, but they have a spiritual realm. There obviously is something
They
there.
have Derech. I mean, they have their.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
It's a philosophy.
Yeah,
There
there
are
is-
many Buddhists that believe different things, like different religions. And there are many
I know, but they still don't
many
have
gods
like
in
a,
those.
like a power. They don't have that.
But be that as it
Well, I
may,
understand.
I don't want to get sidetracked. That be as it may, we'll speak about Buddhism a different night. But Lamaisa, I just listened to a book on tape about.
You make you see on the Buddhism now?
I listened to a book on tape about Baha'i. I came out knowing no more about Baha'i after listening to the book than I did before.
They have a nice garden.
Yes, that's all it is.
It's very similar to straw.
It seems to be it's a
I
song.
think it's a straw.
Because the main prophet of the religion was born in Iran, but then was exiled to the Ottoman Empire. But the Ottomans then put him in a jail in Akko, where he spent the rest of his life. So that's like.
Rabbi, have you ever? You know when people?
Well, let me just finish the story. I keep it. Yeah, I know.
Is
Yeah.
it pagan, Rabbi? Or
What?
paganism, or it's mon-
No, it seems to be monotheistic.
And it's paganism. It's Baha'i. It's
But I don't know. Again, from the book, I can't. It's hard to know. So the main prophet's name is. There was the Eliyahu Navi, who was the Bob. That was his title, the Bob. Very funny. And then there was the Mashiach, whose name was Bahulala.
Ooh.
So that has something to do with the Baha'i. Yeah, so, yes, listen, again, I don't want to cast aspersions. Whatever anybody does should be closer to Hashem, but that's a perfect example. It's Havdalah with the fingers.
Yeah, so, have you ever seen someone like put on the...
You asked me that Motzai Shabbos.
Wait, the Havdalah fingers this?
You asked me that, and I said no.
This?
Oh, yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
This?
Bring it up now.
Yeah.
That is what?
That's the skula.
But aren't there like great people that bring, let's say the Shlah, does anybody like that, the Chidah?
If the Shlah did it, when the Shlah did it, he had kavanos in the Olamos al Yoinim. And it was the Ikar of the kavanos. When you do it, you're saying, God, give me money. That is not going to do anything for you.
Bro, no, wait. Now there is like there is in the Gemara also like with his Hiskiah Melech that says like the Melech prayed, that said to Hillim and Asa said to Hillim, and he's like, I don't know anything, I'm just gonna go to sleep, right? I mean, there's a concept like
no,
I don't know.
That's not bitachon. That's not bitachon.
Okay, even if I know the kavan is behind something, by me doing the act, let it be like the kavan that the Rizal has. We have that, right?
There's a famous story from the Rishner. The Rishner, this is one of the famous Hasidic stories because it has the essence of Hasidus in it, which is the Baal Shem Tov, the Bash, the found Hasidus, when there was a tzar for Klal Yisrael, he would go to a certain place in the forest, he would say a certain tefillah, and the Gezerah would be nizbato. The decree would be nullified. His successor, the Mezritcher Magid, when there was a decree from Shemaim against the Jewish people, he went to a certain place in the forest and he said, we know the place, but we don't know the tefillah. But it should suffice, and the decree was nullified. And in the time of the Rishner, who was the next generation, so the Rishner would say, we don't know the place, we don't know the tefillah, but it should suffice that we can tell the story, and the decree would be nullified.
Fine.
So that's what you're talking about, right?
It's a concept. Like even though I know the kavans, like the kavan that Rizal has, that I actually have when I do this. When they, So why that's not good enough?
No.
Why not?
Because the Arizal didn't have you in mind. You have to have your own kavanas. If it worked for the Rishner, it's because
we say whatever kavanas that there are that we don't know about, that you should have in mind. We say that every time. By tefillin,
yeah, but that's
why are we saying this doesn't mean anything?
It's just
poetic.
Yeah, it's poetic license. Yes.
Can you make up your own kavanas for actions?
Yes. Yes.
Will they work? What is the purpose?
What?
Will they work?
What does it mean? Where they work?
What do you mean? Kavanas for your actions? What's that?
No, kavanas means that film symbolizes something to me.
To me?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can
Why not?
Well, but it symbolizes something, but
It
objectively.
symbolizes a gazillion things. It symbolizes lots of things. So you think there's an end? Shin Palam Torah. It can symbolize lots of things.
But how do I know one?
If you decide
one is one of the 70. How do I know one?
You don't have to, as long as it's L'Shem Shemaim, it's okay.
But it could be wrong. You could.
If I think, well, how many sheker? If I think tefillin, many years ago when I was in camp, so somebody said when he wraps a tefillin, they look like tanks. Tanks.
Tank treads?
The tanks. There's the thing in the middle, and then there are the treads on the side, right? The turret and the treads, right? So now let's say every time I put in tefillin, Kavanah, God is Shomer Yisrael, and this is my tank. And by my tefillin, it should be a shmira for Klal Yisrael. It's beautiful kavanah.
Really?
Yeah. What?
Okay. I wasn't aware that you can. Okay, I wasn't aware you can do something like that.
Judaism is Judaism.
Beautiful, spiritual, plural.
No, yeah, it's pluralistic, right? You think you have to, everything has to fit a mold?
Of course I do.
No, that's very bad. Right? Where'd you get that from?
The multitude of halacha that says do this, do that.
But halacha tells you what to do. It doesn't tell you what to think.
Halacha tells you. In the shulchan, it's
no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
What?
It doesn't know the
No, it just says it's for the purpose of the mitzvah. For the purpose of the mitzvah. Mitzvah sichas kavanah, but that.
It says they should what?
That means you should have kavanah to be yoytz in the mitzvah. What you have in mind besides that, what it symbolizes to you, what it means to you.
The music you can't misplace the kavanas. You have to have the original kavanah and plus.
All the original kavanas I'm doing to the mitzvah for the purpose of the mitzvah. I'm not putting on the film to keep myself warm. It's not a radiator.
We say that you should have a proper garment.
We're having fun tonight, aren't we?
And if it's going to mitzvah, should envelop you. And all that's the basic.
Yes, you can write your own tefillah.
We got real kavanas.
You can write your own
You have
tefillah.
to have the basic kavana.
Rabbi Sai,
Sorry.
The guys who wrote Zmiras for Shabbos,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Every one of them had a different kavanah, right? Each Zemer has a different message,
So
right?
Yeah. So
Is that a problem?
what?
And so when you write your own Zemer,
But there's no
you
mitzvah
have
to
your own
write a
message.
song. There's no mitzvah to sing.
What do you mean?
Is it?
Bro, what? What
Aren't
is there a
there-
comparison?
Aren't you giving Shabbos your own meaning at that point?
Excuse me?
Can't you give Shabbos your meaning for you?
Yeah.
No, it's-
Wow. I don't know. I don't know if I give meaning.
What?
Why?
What does it mean? I don't know.
No, I'll give it this.
You leave? You go, leave. You go.
No, I'm not getting Safari City.
We don't need a. Yeah, you can't read a Sparty sitter. Every second word is a kavanah.
What's the point of putting it on your
That sounds racist to me. You better-
Wait, that's what it said. You know. This.
Southerner. He's from.
It is a racist. It's not racist. Every second word is
What?
kavanah.
originally?
Oh, he's not.
Really?
Oh.
Every time it says UK,
Nobody actually ever says that.
Not real.
Nobody
What's the
says
point of
those.
putting it on the eyebrows?
No, it says those. Just
What?
to think
What's the
that.
point of putting it on the
You're
eyebrows?
asking the guy. I don't do this stuff.
For a reason.
I think it's supposed to be. It says that the wine of Kiddush Friday night restores your eyesight.
Yeah.
Maybe Havdalah the same thing. I don't know.
So what about pockets?
Is that real? That's
It's
real.
all in.
Yeah.
That's a chazal. That's real.
What's real?
The 1/500th is looking at the kiddush restores your eyesight.
You think it's literal?
I don't know what it means.
Right. So now when you say it's real, what do you think you're saying?
I have no idea.
Right. So why do you? So
I don't think anything
what-
you're asking.
No, you made a statement.
I'm retracting that statement.
Oh, that's
and I'm
very
now
good.
asking a question.
Yes. So the truth is that we don't understand exactly what that means.
Okay.
I know that I'm sure the Maral explains it. Other Achronim explain it, but there is no authoritative explanation of what the Chazal means. Like any other Agadata, you can interpret Agadata any way you want.
Permissibly?
Yes, permissibly.
What? But so it's not. You can never interpret God incorrectly.
No, unless it goes against one of the basics of Judaism. In other words, if you interpret Agadata to teach us that there is no God, then you are wrong.
But other than that, you can. And that's more than 70 faces stuff.
Oh, sure. 70 is just for starters. 70 divides into 70 to 70.
That's
Yeah.
preschool stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Okay. Okay. So about. So now. Yeah. I guess you were saying what?
Are you trying to find like the Shimon?
Well, Gentiles and non-Jews. So about non-Jews, you said it doesn't really
Oh my
speak
God,
to
regular-
Christians, monotheistic, or
No, because I think that certainly you see from the Second World War that just as much as there was terrific, horrendous rishus and horrendous behavior on the part of many non-Jews, there were quite a significant number of non-Jews who risked and gave their lives to save Jews, not for their own purpose, not for their own benefit, but because they felt it was the right thing to do. So that's why there is a avenue of Hasidim Umas Olam and Yad Vashem in Yerushalayim, because there were people like that. And I believe that the religions which are Judeo-based, right, such as Christianity and Islam, and perhaps other religions as well.
Baha'i.
Baha'i, yes.
Whatever it is.
Well, Baha'i is Islam-based. And so then I perceive that they have this ethical and moral kernel, at least, which is authentic and real. And that was what the Meiri refers to, the famous Meiri in Baba Kama, the one which is quoted on the side of the daf in the Gemara Baba Kama, because of its pro-non-Jew attitude, but notwithstanding the fact that it's quoted on the side of the Gemara, it is an authentic Meiri, is that anything anytime the Chazal were talking about non-Jews in a derogatory way, they were talking about the non-Jews of the time, not about our non-Jews who are different. And I believe the Meiri really believe that.
so Rabbi Yerucham's statement.
Is at odds with the Meiri. That's okay. That's his perspective.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That what Chazal said about about Goyim in general. Does that transfer over to like modern pagans or modern polytheists?
Well, see, things like this, Chazal say elsewhere that Goyim shebechutz laaretz minagav v'seim b'yadeim. The Goyim b'chutz laaretz, they're not so religious, they're not so frum. They're just on autopilot from their grandparents.
I mean, so the ones in India are not even.
Yeah, so it was definitely Indians who come to America, even though they might profess to be Hindus. I assume that they're much more I bet you they celebrate Christmas. So
But there are. I would assume that from the religious standpoint alone, they are exactly what the Gemara talks about when it talks about Goyim.
in theory, yes.
Genuine polytheists.
Yes.
But
Although, again, with Hindus specifically, Gandhi claimed, I read this biography of Gandhi, that their highest god, Brahm or Brahman or whatever his name is, Brahm, is the same as the Jewish god. I don't know. If that's the case, it's going to be no different Christianity.
that would be.
Like Brahman
Yeah, they're
is
just putting.
like Abraham, and like the like every Hindu deity has like a female counterpart.
Yeah.
And what is
Females? I don't know.
It's like it sounds something like Sarai or something like that. Like it has a lot of similarities.
There's a whole book on it. I read that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so, it's possible that even in Hinduism, there are people who there are tzaddikim. It's possible. Because, again, if
Tzaddikim in our sense of the word? Because it's a Torah. And it violates.
but as long as one of the gods is the right god,
Whoa.
as long as one of the gods is the right god,
Then it's just shituf and it's permissible
for non-Jews. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
I think Hindus have 22 million gods, too.
Is there a Hindu deity that is the right?
So that's what I'm saying. Gandhi, in the biography of Gandhi that I read, he said that yes, the chief god which they have is the same God that the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims have.
Whoa.
But it's easy for them to say that.
I know it's what he said. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just reporting what I read.
Is it really possible for us to mention?
I say I'm not. But I'm not. Next time I meet a Hindu and I have to deal with him, maybe I'll ask him. But right now, it's not no Gelamaisa. Right?
But is it
I'm not going to drink his wine anyway. So they don't drink. I don't think they drink wine though. The Hindus.
Is it not us or to mention these deities' names?
What?
Is it us or?
Yeah, but to teach it is. In other words, you shouldn't mention them for no purpose.
No, but this is the concern.
Yeah.
This is what.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to show you guys. This video. I didn't show any of you guys the video, the fire guy video.
What?
Oh, we have to watch the fire guy video. Can we watch it tomorrow night?
What video?
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Wait, what video? Wait, I'm sorry.
this
What video?
This is the coolest video in the world.
It's cooler than the one of the Picard's video.
What?
The cooler than the Picard's video. The
Which-
Kofer.
Which one?
Doesn't have a
Kofer.
curse
The
video?
Kofer and the Slufkin video.
The car.
Oh, that's no, it's not as funny as that one.
Is that as funny?
No, this is not a funny one.
Oh, come on.
This is a guy in India. One of the
Oh, no, what's his name? Yogi. The one
Yeah.
that burns himself on fire.
yeah.
Okay, I'll go watch it.
Wait, it's a guy.
How do you know about it?
You told
I told you about it.
Yes. I believe
So didn't we watch it? We didn't watch it.
Is
No.
this like a History Channel type thing or?
That's YouTube.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. There's a guy in India. Then what?
He has this 14-hour ritual, which he builds a tremendous. And you watch him do it. He builds this tremendous.
14 hours?
No, it's excerpted.
Time lapse.
It's excerpted.
Watch this.
Don't watch the whole thing.
Wait, what
He
is
does it
this?
He builds a tremendous, fire of burning stuff, and it's makriv karbanos, a lot of karbanos to his avodah zarah, and then when the fire is really roaring and blazing, he rolls around in the fire and sacrifices himself.
And he's alive afterwards.
Yes, and he's alive afterwards.
How?
That's the question.
Just tell everybody Rabbi Lam is giving now, starting in the next class.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I will finish. Yes.
In the Yale Library, whoever wants
Yeah.
to join us, welcome.
So I think that was.
I think he's just going to do a hint.
Anyway, we'll do the video tomorrow.